Hey, my name is Marquise Lawton, and this is my presentation about my portfolio piece that I've done for HCI 472. Design System Iteration 1. So I wanted to go through the different iterations of my design system to show you how my portfolio kind of evolved into what it is today. So this is my artboard for my iteration 1. I use like a rose colored background and a dark red color for the nav bars. I tried to use a lot of grays and neutral colors as well, but the contrast didn't really work for the system. So this is my first iteration, the artboard. This is how the home page would have looked in my first iteration. You can't really see the text. That was a big problem, and the buttons kind of blend into the background as well. This would be how the project page would look. The contrast is a little better on the cards, but still with the text it kind of blends in, and the text would have been too close to the images, so it wouldn't have had much legibility. Design System Iteration 2. This is Iteration 2. As you can see, I've kept the background color, but I decided to change the navbar colors to a dark blue. I thought that would create for better contrast, and it did. However, with some of the text, there's still not that much contrast, so that had to be changed, and that's going to change in phase 3. This is how the home page would have looked. Like I said, not much legibility. Contrast wasn't what I was really checking for. I didn't pay that much attention to it, but it was brought to my attention that I need to work on changing the contrast levels. This is how my project page would have looked. I liked the light blue colors on the card, so I decided to keep that. And the text is still a little bit too light, but eventually that changes in the next iteration. The final iteration. So I decided to change the whole background to just a plain white color, change the text to a black color in order to create better contrast. I kept the nav bar the dark blue and kept a light white text for the nav bar headings as well as for my footer. This is how the home page would have looked. I decided to scrap the buttons at the top, but I kept them on the iteration page because I didn't want to go through and change all of that stuff. This is how the card page would have looked. It looks a little better, a lot better than the previous iterations. This is just an example of the contrast checker that I used to make sure the background color was contrasted enough with the foreground color for my nav bars and next for my cards as well. This is my link contrast checker. I decided to change the link color to like a light purple. My page doesn't really use that many links, but I feel like future iterations of my portfolio will have more links to them. Final result. So my homepage turned out pretty simple. It's a pretty basic homepage. The nav bar at the top, I decided to scrap the buttons like I mentioned before because I felt like they were unneeded at this point. I can have everything in the header, and I have a link to the UX projects that I've done in the bottom of the page, as well as a back to top button to bring the user to the back of the top. This is how my projects page would look. Pretty simple, just 4 cards lined out, easy to click. That would bring you to how the project would actually look. And this will be an example of my projects page. It's pretty bland so far. I feel like once I get an actual project into the portfolio, this page would change a lot more. The end. Thank you for watching.